Hello everyone. Um, what's the date today? Today's the 26th. Meaning that today's the 26th. These monthly candles are about to close. They're about to close on this Friday. So next Friday is non-farm payroll, which resets the monthly zones. But as you guys noticed, last week the zones they pulled all the way back. You see how this monthly candle is closing? This is like a indication that the monthly trend is no longer bearish. It might be going bullish. And this candle, this monthly candle, it has one more week left in it. So let me show you guys something. You see this little zone right here with these little wicks? Because we have 1 week left in this monthly candle. So if the weekly candle this week closes below these wicks, there's a possibility that monthly trend might continue. But based off how everything is going right now and last week, is a high probability that is now bullish. So if it closes down here this week, is a possibility that September, which is next month, we have 1 quarter left in this year, which is October. It's going to be October, November, December. So September's candle is going to show the direction of that quarter. So next week is September's candle, which for emphasis is this candle right here that I'm holding. So if September candle closes down here, there's a possibility that the trend will be bearish. The original plan in which we had was for the end of this year to finish in a bearish trend, roughly around here. This was the original idea we have, but based off how the candle and the weekly and the monthly candle is closing, this might not work out anymore. So September would close here, then October, November, December, the last quarter would finish off in this zone. This was the original idea we have. But being that you notice how this monthly candle is closing with a stop hunt, this huge wick, this like the whole trend is about to change. We have 1 week left in this candle. So now, since you notice how it pulled all the way back, we're going to be looking out for the buys now. So you see this candle right here? September should be going this way now. You see once this, hold on, let me delete these. You see this little zone, these wicks right here, right? So this week, when the market closes above this support zone, because all of this should now be support. If you guys remember from months ago, we were selling from all the way up here, and then this candle was supposed to close down here this month. But notice how it pulled back up. So all of this was basically a fake out. So when this candle closes on Friday, the monthly candle is going to close on Friday. So when this candle closes, once it closes above this support, it shouldn't be going back down there in September. So once this candle closes bullish, there's a complete stop hunt. Expect September to continue bullish. But if you guys remember though, we've been trading this for here, which is like 2-4. It was roughly 6 months ago, like 2-4-6 when we sold it. And then if you guys remember when we caught the reset, the pullback, and then sold again. So now a bit complicated because you see this zone right here, it could still hold like all of this support right here. It could, this would be resistance. All of this, hold on. This zone right here still be resistance. So that's why this is a bit complicated. The only time it's really gonna be a free zone, like it has to take this zone out. So there's a possibility that we would have to sell from here again. Like it would do, because remember now we're going to be looking to buy September, October. But let's say when it hits that resistance right there, the possibility of it coming back down It's still a possibility of it coming back down from this zone. So once we start buying in September now, I mean, yeah, basically September. We're basically in September because this monthly candle is about to close Friday. So we could just forget about this one. The thing is, if it closed above, you see these wicks right here? These should now be support. Like, you should be buying from this zone. So, wait, let me give you a better estimate. The top, the bottom, right here. So the market shouldn't be going back past that hammer, or I don't know how you guys identify these patterns, but these candles, like, this should not be support. So you see for September, we'll be looking to buy. But remember, it could hold right here, then come back down from there. And then it will continue from that previous setup we had like this. It will reset the same support, which will now be resistance, and then it will be coming off. If this part here holds, right? But for argument's sake, if it breaks right through, then we're going to have to buy into next year, because all of this will now be support. Something like that. And then if you draw the thread line, it'll be bouncing off, like, basic. So it'll be bouncing off the strength. But I highly doubt it's coming over here, because I don't even know why they chose to pull this back. And everything was going perfect for, like, this has been months of consistent drop. And then for some reason, I don't know if it's a fake out, because we still have 1 week left in this month. So if this was a fake out, that means this weekly candle is going to close below here. And once the weekly candle closes below here this week, for argument's sake, if the weekly candle closes below these wicks, it becomes resistance again. And then all of that scenario of it bouncing all the way up here, that will be gone. Like, you see, if this week, this weekly candle is going to close the month, right? So if that weekly candle closes below here, it will be good. September will just fall right through, like this. September wishes into next week, NFP will reset and it falls through. But this weekly candle, if it closes above these wicks right here into September, we're going to be looking at a buy. And that's the overall look for it on the monthly. So now we'll go down into this weekly time frame, and you see how it looks on the weekly now. Like, this, it was so unnecessary, because I have to show you guys the mark. I have to mark it on the monthly. And keep in mind, this is the resistance that we said that it would not, it could bounce back off long term. Like, it could come back down off this price. And then once it break through here, then it's good. It's going to either break through here and continue, or it's going to come back down off it. Right, so these are the scenarios we're going to be looking for. Is because this, right, man, I don't know why they came back into this zone, because look how far down it was. If all of this was a fake out and it's just a pullback, this weekly candle is going to close the monthly below this zone right here, right? But for argument's sake, it's above, so now we're looking out for the buys, which should be going up to this zone, and then it's a possibility for it to drop back down and break through. Or if it breaks through here, then the buys is definitely going to continue off this like that. Once it breaks through this right here, yeah, it should continue roughly around there, and then the reset. But that would be like next year, so we don't have to worry about that. All right, so let's go into the weekly now. And you see it's still drawing up, right? So this week, what we'll be doing this week now, based off all that we know might be happening into this week, we're going to be looking to buy. Let me show you guys. So this is where the buys is set up for this week, right? Remember that roughly to see if it, when it hits here, if it's gonna come back down or is it gonna break through. But this is, oh man, I don't even want to buy into this because the sales, they were going so perfect until last week. This candle should have never came back. But since it's here, we're gonna have to buy into it. You guys know the Pepperotis when you use the Fibonacci, blah blah. So 50 to 75, and then yeah. But I know I see it, so I'm gonna just draw it. So you see the 50 will roughly be here where this is. So the first buy zone, we're gonna be looking to buy it around here. Sorry, hold on. We're going to be looking to buy it around here. And another buy here. And the stop loss down. Right, we're going to be looking to buy here, right? Let me take these off. You guys have the rough idea of if that's for a long term later on though. So you guys don't have to worry about that right now. Let me just clear it up. You don't have to worry about any of that. Let's just work on this weekly because you have the overall idea of what you're looking for. So now into real time with the previous candle. So this is what happened last week. So now we're looking to buy it for the continuation to close the monthly, right? So what we're saying is that this weekly candle, which is this week, it should be closing roughly here, right? So this would be the buy min, the buy max, and then we're saying the weekly candle is about to close here. But this is so annoying though because we know what's been going on. Like we've been selling it for the past 6 months, and just not like basically last week it pulled back into this range. If you guys remember, it ranged here for 4 months before that breakout. It ranged in the same for 4 months. You see, 1, 2, 3, 4. So if you look on the weekly candle, for 4 months it was right. You see this zone right here? For 4 months it was sitting here. So this is heavy resistance. Like for 4 months it was right here in this little bracket. So this is heavy resistance to say it's even going to break through that 4 month resistance, which is at right now, right? But since it's reversed, we have to go with the buys. Even though I'm feeling it's still a pullback, and that this week I'm feeling like all of this was just a pullback on the monthly, because if the weekly candle goes back below this zone, it's still going to continue, right? So we're going to, since it went this way last week, we're going to buy in to see if it breaks this resistance. But this resistance is strong. Like it's not going to break right through this week. It'll probably go like up here. So the take profit is going to be somewhere around here, because it's not going to break through this. I'm telling you, it's not going to break through this. It's going to be, because next week is going to be NFP and all that extra stuff. So it's not going to break through right through, like, you see this weekly candle? It's not going to happen like this. It's not going to break. So when you're buying, you're going to have to take profit roughly around here, which is this price around here. And then next week, NFP would reset this. And once with that reset, the weekly low, and then NFP and all that extra stuff would either break through, because it would need a cover up for like NFP to break through, or NFP is going to continue back in that direction. But anyways, that's next week for NFP. But for this week, the weekly candle, it should be closing around here, right? So we're going to be buying into this zone. It's going to pull back, put the buy. I'm going to put the signals for the buy zone for around here, pull back, and then the stop loss roughly around here. But if for some reason this week, this candle, when it hits the buy zone, and it comes back down. Wait, man, I don't really think, even if it right here and I'm gonna go break even, because I still have a feeling like it's just gonna hit this zone. And once this weekly candle come down here, because if this weekly candle closes down here, this monthly candle recovers. And that monthly, I don't see them. It's really hard to see next month, September, going all the way up. Like, it is possible based off what's going on. But I don't think we should risk a lot trading on these buys, because candle recovers, the monthly candle, and it's back to being monthly. But if this week continues like how it did last week and the week before, then it's a possibility that it's changed bullish, because everything is weekly, the daily, the 4-hour, everything is bullish except the monthly. So this week would make the monthly bullish if it continues, but if it don't, then it's going to reverse back bearish, which is this zone. This zone is 4 months of resistance. I'm telling you, it's not going to just break through this 4 months resistance. Like, it's not just going to, even though we're going to be buying it, we're going to be buying it from around here, the weekly low. It's 4 months resistance. This weekly candle probably closed. The take profit would be here and here, right? But if it does, just once it comes down here, it's basically reversed back in, and the trend continues like this for September. So if this weekly candle closes, the trend will continue like this for September. So when you guys are buying this week, don't risk a lot on these buys, because these buys I'm telling you, this buys ain't worth it. Like, I don't trust these buys at all. But based off what the market is doing, we're going to have to buy it. So it will do like this, right? But if this weekly candle closes above like this, then into next week and NFP and all that stuff, it would range around here. NFP stop hunts. When NFP stop hunts, it would either continue, and then this major zone again that I drew before. There's so much going on. That's what I'm saying. These are the last that we should not be buying this. But based off what the market is doing, it's saying buys. So we're gonna have to buy to either this resistance or this resistance. These two. Then so we're not gonna be risking a lot on these buys, because you notice the zone is very small. Buying to this zone to see if it holds. And then into next week, it will go by if it will continue up to this zone. And either of these two zones could break back bearish. Because remember, you guys remember this little gap down here? We're trying to say it's going to go fill this gap. This was our original plan, for it to go down to this zone to fill this gap. So wait, this ain't the right. Wait, I logged into the wrong Zoom account. But anyways, when we're buying this week, we're going to be buying from this zone, right? But I don't want you guys to risk a lot on the buys, even though the market is saying everything is bullish up to the weekly. So we have to buy into this week, but the monthly is still bearish. And this week is the possibility to change the monthly trend to bullish. So once it continues, the whole trend is now bullish on the monthly, weekly, daily, everything. But if for argument's sake, once it hits here and come back down here to close, the monthly trend will continue bearish. The week regain bearish. The monthly, weekly, and the daily, etc. will go back down to being bearish. Hold on, you guys are talking in the chat. Okay. All right. So now we have that in mind, right? We're going to be buying from this zone up to this zone, major resistance right here. And then the other major resistance is right here. I don't see this trend going bullish long term. Like, maybe till like October or November. If it breaks through here, we'd buy into September, October, and then November will come back. But I don't see USD going bearish long term, like into next year. So, but since it's all showing buys, we're gonna have to buy into this week. All right, so that's how it looks on the weekly. And then going to daily. Hold on, let me check the news real quick. And I logged into the wrong Zoom account, so this Zoom account is gonna close out me in. So you check the news to see if there's any major event this week. On the daily time frame, you have nothing until Wednesday. Nothing important Wednesday. So there's no major news forecasted for this week. So there shouldn't be no major stop hunts or none of those. Only on Wednesday you have a red folder, but it's not that important. So with no major news or nothing nothing there to stop hunt and clear the board, this is gonna be our buy zone for this week, right? We're gonna buy into it from this week, from this zone, this buy zone. I'm gonna put it in the signal chat, and then our take profits would be this major resistance right here. Will be the first one. This zone, which is 1.173, this area. And then if September is going to continue, September into October would continue up to this zone. And then there's a possibility for the cells to take back over up here. So it's either going to take back over up here, down here, or up here. So we're going to be buying from this zone up to this zone, which would end this week. This weekly is going to end somewhere around here for this weekly high. So we're going to be buying from here to here this week. And then into next week, the new monthly candle is going to open, which is going to be September, or it's going to hold this and come back down. But once this weekly candle closes up here, it's more likely that it's going to continue. But let's keep in mind, Sunday, Monday, the buys are always into US session. If the cells just hit this zone right here and take it out tomorrow, well, you know we have to sell, right? Because yeah, it would just continue like boom, and then this will continue to be resistance, and then it will just continue down. But based off of everything that happened last week, we're gonna have to be buying into this zone up to here and then there, right? And it's the same correlation for all of these. You know, the AUD, the GBP, all of them will be the same. But it looks so weird though. That's what I'm trying to tell you, because you see how this double top and all this stuff played out, how we've been planning it for months. I don't see this double top being broken. Like, no way that's gonna happen. Because you guys remember, we've been following this consistently for so long. How are you gonna tell me that this double top on the monthly is gonna be bullish? Like, no way. Look, this is what? AUD, yeah, this should be AUD USD. This monthly candle should not be going back. Even if it's going back, it's probably gonna go reset this right here. And that will be the second, like how I have it on Euro. Like the second zone up here, it's just gonna go reset this zone. And then the correlation will continue, and then it will drop. Because I don't see USD going bullish long term. Right? It don't make no sense. One moment. We've been following this trend for like 6 months last week. One moment. Zoom account, because I think this is the trial version. But anyways, real quick, I don't see the monthly candle. You remember, we've been trading like 6 months. We've been following it, right? And then, but being the weekly candle really went back bullish. Everything is bullish except the monthly. So this weekly would turn the monthly candles bullish. But this double top, we've been following it for so long. I would say if it goes bullish, it would only go reset right here and then continue back down. Because guys, I don't see the USD trend going point where the monthly trend has completely changed and it continues like this. I don't see this happening. Like the buys, it should not be. This would be into next year. If it does out of go, we see some strong bullish candles pushing all the way up like this. All of this will be buys into next year. So we'll be buying all of next year, right? But I don't see the USD trend actually going bullish. Even though this week might change the monthly bullish, next month will be reset the yearly low. Once they set the yearly low and hold this zone been holding for it's been holding for a couple of years actually, since 2015. So if it holds again and it breaks through here, for sure next year, like all of this year. But I don't see it going up there. I don't want it to go up there actually, but we're gonna have to buy and see. But guys, I'm gonna have to log into the other Zoom account and post the link because this is the wrong one. So I'm about to send you the other link and then just log in on that link. So, because this one's about to finish. I'm gonna send you the new link in the Signal chat. All right, hold on. All right, on 6. Yeah, this is the AUD USD that was looking at. Yeah, we've been following this AUD USD since it was up here, bro. Like, basically when it was like this. And we set it up to be a double top from this resistance. So when basically we're seeing this double top on it. But you know we're going to buy into it based off the weekly trend. Because you see how this monthly, or you see, the correlation is very similar. You see how, except for GBP broke. Even on GBP, that's what I'm saying, so strong, bro. I don't see, because the correlation is, once this go bullish, GBP, Euro, NZD, they would all go bullish also. In a bearish pattern. This is a double top right here on NZD. Same for AUD USD. You see the similarity? They're all similar because of the correlation. But that's why that's why this part we actually got caught, because I don't understand why they would have came back into these zones and they didn't finish, because the monthly candle finishes this week, and unless this weekly candle back down here, we got thrown off, because now it will be bullish. And based off what's going on, we're going to have to buy. And my forecast is these two resistance. Because once this bullish candle goes over here, it's pretty much over. Because it's definitely going to go up until October, November. Once this bullish candle takes over like this, September's candle go up. Oh, October is definitely going to do. October will definitely continue. But I'm not buying into it. I don't believe it. So we're just going to buy. We're going to use half of what we usually use in lot sizes, because I don't trust these buys. I'm telling you, I don't trust them at all. Because I've been following it for so long. I don't see next year, because this is leading up this quarter, September's candle, which is next month's candle. If it closes like this, that means the third quarter is over. So let me highlight it for you guys. Insert. All right. which is next week. So we're saying we're gonna be buying, right? So we're saying we're buying once it closes. Support September is gonna continue bullish. Once September candle, which is next month's candle, closes above this wick, these over here, this zone is so compact, like how compact this zone is right here, because it's not. So let's say for argument's sake, September candle, this is the take profit zone that we're talking about. When it breaks through here, this is another major zone. So the next candle, which is going to be October. So let's say for argument's sake, right, September closed above it. October now, this is this candle. October is going to start quarter, which is October, November, December. So those last 3 months, that means into next year is going to be the buys. I keep saying that because I don't think it's going to go over there, because next year we'll be buying. So that's why I'm saying the sells. You see how compact this little zone is? Once it do take out this little zone, man, into next year it will be buys into next year. Possibly up to, this will be the target. It will be going somewhere around here. And that's all leading from next week's candle, which is September. So September candle comes up here. So this week we're going to be buying to see if the candle closes up here. And then next week we'll buy again, which will make the monthly low. Once we have the monthly low, we'll see if September candle goes through. But keep in mind, guys, it's all based off this current monthly candle. If this monthly candle closes down here this week, because it still has 1 week left in it. So if our buys don't work out this week, forget everything I'm telling you right now and just say it's going to continue, because this zone right here is the support and resistance zone. This is the major support and resistance zone. So if this weekly candle does close below, which I don't think it is, because it already went above. If you guys remember, this candle was all the way down here. It should have never came back into this zone, and the month is about to close this week. So this weekly candle should range around and then come here, and then into next month, which is September, we're going to see if it, because I showed you guys the 2 take profit, right? We're going to see if it holds this one. And if it does hold that one, we're going to see if it comes up here and take out this one. But we're going to see how far these buys goes, because the weekly trend changed. So we have to go bullish on the weekly now, but the monthly is still bearish. So if this monthly candle closes below, we continue down, which would be September as originally planned, because this should have been September right here. Like, it should have closed below here. And this week, that's why we were selling, because this is what we've been doing. Like, we were supposed to be selling September again. And then once September candle closes down here, we'd expect the quarter, which is October, November, and December, it should have pulled back and then continued down to finish the year. And then into next year, it would have been, let me show you, like, it should have finished the quarter down here, which is October, November, December. And then after that, it would reset the new yearly high. And then the year would have just continued. The USD trend would have continued. But based off all what happened, we have to reconsider that now, because this monthly trend, this stop hunt, this is too crazy. Like, this is not September. No, it might not come back if this candle closes here this week. So from there, that's why we're going to be buying into it this week. From the zones I showed you guys, when you break it down on the daily and the 4 hour, the correlation is pretty much the same. But if you guys notice, the trends on the monthly, they're so strong. I really don't understand why they would do this the last week. This is the daily. I don't understand why they would really come back. This is like the last week for these monthly candles to close, and why they should have just finished and closed down here. Like, life would have been so much easier. Like, we'd just have to catch the new monthly high And then when we sold it again, it would have just dropped right through. Life would have been so much easier, but now we have to look out for these buys. And like I said, if we're buying, we're gonna be using half the lot size that we usually use, because these sells, and like euro, this will be the, and then this will be the second take profit from the buys, because I believe that it's just gonna reset. If it's gonna reset, it's gonna reset up here and drop. The buys, I don't see all the way up here. Like the monthly trend, look, these are monthly candles. It should not be going. If it does go over here, it's gonna be buys all of next year. I promise you that. Because if this takes out this and come up here into next year, the whole USD trend is gonna continue to collapse, and that's not gonna happen. I'm telling you from now that the USD trend ain't gonna collapse against Euro, Great Britain, unless they all, no, that would be, it's I don't understand, I don't know how to explain it, but there's no way Euro and GBP, they have enough, I don't know what's the word to explain it, but they don't have enough volume yet. They don't have enough volume basically to take out all of this. This has been going on from 2016 until now. I'm not gonna say that, because who am I to say they don't have enough volume to do that? Because if they do that, we have to buy it, and I'm gonna be mad as hell. Like I said, it wouldn't happen, but it could happen. But I don't see it happening though. But we're gonna have to buy into it based off what's going on though. But just like the correlation is two major zones. Like on Euro, the major zone is here. On GBP, there should be two of them too, in which the sells could regain. But look at this, bro. You see this GBP USD candle? Look at the monthly. It closes this week, which means this would be the buy zone. Like once we buying into it, if you're gonna be, I'm not gonna be buying into GBP because this one looks even worse than Euro. So we're gonna be trading Euro, and I'm not sure which other pair, but I'm gonna show you for this week anyways. But if GBP USD, see the shapes, GBP USD, right? Let's say September, which is September candle, it would have, this is the warning that GBP USD is to buy GBP USD. Like this will show you that September is going to be, September will do this, right? So like again, this would be September, because we might as well forget about this candle because it closes this week. So we're focused on September's candle because August candle is basically over with. So we're focused on September. So once this weekly candle close, this is over, and this is next week, right? So let's say we're buying into the USD trend, right? We're going to be buying, because once you're buying Euro, you have to be buying GBP USD, you have to be buying NZD USD, you have to be buying all the pairs in correlation, right? You have to be buying all of those, and then be selling the opposite. So if Euro go bullish for September, that means GBP USD, it would engulf here. And once GBP USD engulf this candle, which is this month, for sure you could say October will continue, which is the last quarter, which is October, November, December. And then from there, we'd have to look out, which would be the second sell zone. Just like on Euro, the correlation, there's two zones. But once they take out this zone now, yeah, it's pretty much over, because man, next year might be at the buys, because this is all leading. This is it's a monthly trend. The trend, if this trend changes like this, that means into next year it will be the buys. But I don't see all these pairs going bullish on the long term, on the monthly into next year. I don't see these trends going bullish. Like no way. That would be September will be this, right? So let's say for argument's sake, September, because it's bullish on the weekly, but I say the monthly engulf, and now September is now bullish. October is a possibility of the continuation, which is this zone. October, November, December, like just all of them have the same. And then November, December, it would either come through, into next year's margin, or it's going to come back down. So it all depends on these two zones, this one and this one. It's very difficult to say because I never expected this to happen, because we were selling it for so long, but based off how all of this is going on, it seems September is going to engulf over, because you see how this is euro now, back to euro, the correlation is the same. It would go over in September, so this would be September. October the second quarter would start. And then this is the second resistance zone, that the same way I drew it on GBP and AUD. October, if October breaks over here, this is into next year's margin. And I keep saying I don't see next year going bullish. So if it breaks here, then yeah, next year will be bullish. This is bullish territory for next year. But from these buys, we're going to see if it takes out this zone. That's why we're going to be using half the buy volume that we usually use. And then if it takes out this zone, this will be the first take profit. We're going to buy it again off the reset. But this will be like next week. So this week will continue. Next week will be September, which is this one. Starting into September, it will reset, make the monthly low, continue up, close up here in September. And then if it takes it out again, we'll buy September's low and see if September continues like that, right? But that's all into buy territory. But you guys know, if the monthly candle, which is this week, if it does recover like we originally planned, it should have been dead, and it does close like usually, if this week, because we're going to be buying half in case it's a stop loss, because I still believe like some reason like this don't make no sense why it will come back after like 5. This has been like, bro, this is 2, 3, 4 months. Like 4 months ago it was here, and then it came back, and then it dropped and came right back here. So, and we've been following it from it. We're selling it from what's up here, and then because this range right here, this 4 months is roughly the same. This 4 months right here, it just made a pattern from this 4 months. Right. I knew that was gonna happen. Look here, you see this is 2, 3, 4. This is 4 months over here, right? It was 4 months over here, 2, 4, made a pattern, continued 4 months here. So this 4 months, which we just went through, should have finished this pattern. Storm shapes, hold on. You see this 4 months that we went through just now? Because remember when we sold it from up here, this 4 months should have finished the pattern over here, which would have closed down here, which should have finished the whole trend. Like, that's 4. You see 4 plus 4, that's the 8, 4, and 4 here, and then 4. It would have closed down here and finished the trend, and then the quarter would have been finished. And it would have been so simple, would have just caught the quarterly high reset and then continued. But because this candle, for some reason, it came all the way back into this 4 month range, and it's about to close this week, unless it closes down here this week and finish 4 months over here, the other 4, it should have finished this pattern. Unless it closes below here, which this monthly candle, unless it closes below here this week and finish the monthly candle, then it won't. This was our original plan, but it's not going to go through. So we're going to be buying to see if it comes back to either here or this one. This is the second one. One of them is going to hold or break. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The euro, you see the correlation, the GBP is still strong. That's what I'm trying to tell you. I'm going to, that's what I showed you. I'm not going to be trading GBP USD because it shows even stronger than euro. So September would reset. This would be the first buy one. The first take profit zone. We'd be buying. If you're trading GBP, you would have to be buying into GBP USD. So you'd have to be buying and then when you buy, your first take profit will be here. And then if it completely engulfs, then October, it will September, which is next month, it will completely engulf. That's going to be, I'm going to be buying the GBP USD. I'm going to be buying it again because I'm not going to be trading it right now. So if it engulfs, like once I see 75 over here, I know it's probably going to close there in October. That would be a better view for after the monthly low. This would be the second zone, the second take profit. And then once October, that's when everything's going to be, that's when the real confirmation would be to see if this zone completely holds or engulfs. Because remember, if it breaks over here, this is into next year. This will be happening next year. It will be buys into next year. But for the people who is in the group, they know we've been selling Euro USD since basically 2 quarters. That's like 6 months ago. We've been selling Euro USD, and the USD trend has been recovering. But based off how this monthly candle closing, it seems it's gonna range out end of October, November. That's when it will be up here, because once September engulf, October is definitely going to be buys. GBP USD, AUD USD, all of the correlation, it will definitely be buys. So if September engulfs like this, October will continue up, right? And then once it reaches up here into October, the end of October, November, we're going to see if it breaks. Yeah, I would say into November, Thanksgiving, around that time, around November, because this is September, October. November is going to show that margin release. It's either going to reverse back down from, because you guys need to pay attention to why I'm drawing these zones. You see this right here, all of this is 4 months. You notice this is major resistance all across this board right here. So that's what I'm saying around November, because this is what it hit. This zone, came back, hit it again, came back, and then whatever they did over there, then they came here to the range here again, range here for 4 more months, came back. So when they come back here again, it's not just going to break through this. It's not just going to go right through. So that's what I'm saying. September is going to engulf. October is going to continue. But you see, when November reaches up here, if November can't pattern, let me put in December real quick. Let's say November has to engulf back down for December to continue bearish, because in my head, I'm going bullish. So this is what I'm saying is going to happen basically in my head. This is what I see happening. If it does engulf, if the bias does take over, because we're going to be buying this week of what happened last week, how the weekly trend changed over. September do engulf, and September continues like this, it engulf. October will continue, because that would definitely mean October going to continue. But November would have to completely railroad back in, and then December will continue down. But you see, if October does close above this zone, and you guys remember why this zone is important, right? Because notice across the board, this resistance is key resistance. So October would continue back up, and once if October break this key, does this, December, boom, reset the yearly low again, set the yearly low. Once the yearly low is being resetted, it will continue from there into next year. But I don't see this happening. That's why I keep saying it. I don't see no buys going up into the next year. It should be coming back down from around here. I'm always gonna be looking out for the sell zones. So when we're gonna be buying, but we're gonna be buying lightly because I'm always gonna be looking out for those sell zones. All right, so that's like the overall forecast of what should change long term, guys. That's what's gonna happen. That's how the bullish trend is gonna go. It's gonna go boom, September reset, October, November. We're gonna show you how it looks on Euro. GB, you guys know the correlation: GBP, NZD, AUD, USD. They're the same in correlation. The USD, JPY, the SHAF, and the CAD. Those are different. So for Euro, September with correlation. Delete. If the buys are going to take over long term, guys, because everyone is saying it's time to buy, it's time to buy. This is if it's going to happen, because I've been following this for years and I don't see the USD trend losing value for the next 3. If it does happen, we would have to buy. But I'm just trying to show you. Anyway, you see how the same correlation, you have these 4 months, 4 here on Euro. September would engulf like this. Once September engulfs, just like on, because you see this one look more clearer. That's why I'm going to be trading this one, supposed to GBP USD, because you see this resistance is so heavy on GBP USD. You see how heavy this is, this monthly candle? It would have to completely engulf. Euro looks more lightly, so that's why we're going to be trading Euro. And I'm going to look into these in a few minutes and then look for 2 other pairs, but not GBP USD, but would engulf over. And once September engulf over, September closes, right? Then again, like the same 4, I'll show you the 4 months here. So that's all heavy resistance. Wait, this one should be here on Euro, because this week in September would reset the monthly low and then continue up, right? And then September into October, this would be the next major zone, just like on GBP. I showed you the next major zone on GBP. This is into next year's margin. If October go here, November has to come back down like this. And then December would do this. Because if that don't happen, then into next year's it's gonna be buys. But like I keep saying, I don't believe in the buys, basically. I don't believe it's gonna October and then November is gonna break through this major zone here. I don't believe November is gonna break through, but once November break through, and then from there you're gonna have to be looking out. That would be into next year's margin from once it breaks up here. But let's see how it works out though, guys. But based off how everything closed out, we're gonna be going with the buys. This week, we're going to be going for the buys. We're going to be buying it lightly to see if it hits that first zone and come back. Because once it closes up here, next week, we're going to have NFP. And there should be a whole bunch of other news. Next week is going to open the new monthly candle. And we're going to see if September does. We're going to be buying it again. Because based off how this monthly candle closed, we're going to be looking to buy September's monthly low to see if September engulfs. If September engulfs, October will continue, and then around the end of October, November, if it completely reverse back in like this, or if the buys is going to continue into next year. But these are the 2 major zone board, the USD board that we're going to be looking for, right? So once this closes down, and then from these buys, once the stop loss we have this week, even though I don't hope we lose, but if we do take the stop loss and it hits, wish it should have closed down here, life would have been so much easier, man, because we had this plan for so long. It would have just kept going. But we're gonna see. We're gonna have to buy into it based off how the weekly candle close, and let me show you guys on the weekly how we're gonna enter it again from off the weekly. And delete all of this stuff. So you see this weekly with the Pip Royalties technique, we're going to be looking to buy roughly around here and around for the weekly low. So the weekly low should be around here, and then from there we should be buying and holding the buys to see how far it goes to either of those resistance, we're gonna see which one holds. So we're gonna be looking to buy this week around here and buy them at min max, and then the stop loss down roughly around here. But for argument's sake, we're gonna be buying lightly because we know the trend, and if it does just break through, because if by Tuesday, Wednesday, it should already be in profit, significant profit. So if by Wednesday, Thursday, it does, it will be a loss, but it will be much easier life, trust me, because it will just continue for the rest of this year until like October. It will just continue down. But if the buys, we're going to be buying from here. But if the buys do hold, the buys, we're going to be buying around. We're going to be holding the buys to roughly around here, which is the first zone to sell. And then if it don't hold, it will continue up here to around October, November. And then we're going to see if that one hold. Hold on, you said, because you had USD JPY, USD SHAF. Since these are bullish, those should be bearish, right? So these should be sells on the monthly. USD SHAF, they should be bearish. If the monthly correlation is changing, those should be bearish. So if Euro USD, GBP USD, AUD, if they're bears, if they're bulls, which is buys, sells. All right, so it did take out the body of last week. So it did of last month. So it did completely engulf for the sells. So this monthly candle closed somewhere down here this week, which will close the monthly candle in this zone. And then, which is next month, September candle will continue bears. Because if we're buying Euro and them lot, these will be sells coming down. But then again, remember like how I told you there's two major zones on Euro and GBP? The correlation with these would be the same. So you'll be looking out for the buys roughly around here, which is right here. This will be your first take profit. You have to sell this light, just like how we're these light. And then October, November here. And then when October come down here, it's the same correlation across the board. So once Euro does decide to go back down, if it does decide to go back down around October, November, it will be around there. If this correlation continues with the same correlation, it would get engulfed back roughly around here. It would engulf back over. You see those as your key support zone, roughly there, right? So around October, it will be around here. November, it would reverse back in. But if November take this out, just like how this is into next year, we'll take this out, like boom. And then into next year, the new margin would reverse back up. Hold on, one moment. All right, you see what I'm saying? So this would be the sells into next year margin. If October does break through November, then December will continue to. But with the correlation that we know Euro would be sells, October will hold here. The support I'm getting is from over here. October, November would hold here. November would reverse back in. And once November continue like this, just like Euro would continue with the sells, this would continue around October, November, it would reverse back in. And then December would continue. Because if Euro is going down, these would be bulls. Thank you. The screen's still blurry, you guys can see it. It's being recorded though, so once I post it, I click something. It's back to normal now, right? I think I clicked that. Yeah, I clicked the optimize button. All right, so October, November, remember the correlation, guys, because all of them will be pulling back the same way, going forward the same way. So it's all about is the US dollar gonna continue to crash or is it gonna recover? I've been following it for a long time and consistently it's been recovering for the past 6 months, which was a yearly reset because the yearly candle, it was originally bullish, but then this year it reversed back bearish. So it was like a yearly reset bearish. And then we was selling it consistently from that reset for like 6 months. Now, last week, all of that changed. Like now it's basically saying it's going to be bullish into next year. So the main idea you want to focus on is it's not all the pairs like Euro, GBP. You want to focus on is the US dollar. Is it going to continue to recover or is it going to continue to crash? From that, you want to focus on the correlation, which is Euro USD, GBP USD, AUD USD, NZD USD. They are in the same correlation. If one is going the same way, they're all going to trend the same way. USD JPY, USD CAD, USD SHAF, they're going to be going opposite. I'm going to be giving the signal of 3 pairs each month in which we follow. But if you're trading other pairs, you want to focus on the correlation and all that extra stuff on the same way that we're doing it. So from all of that, it'll be easier if you just follow the ones that we're going to be doing, but all of them will be doing the same thing basically. All of them hit here October, November, all of them is going to be around the same zone. Like Euro USD is going to be around here. AUD USD is going to be around here. All of them is going to be around the same zone at the same time. And then if it does decide to break through, all of them is going to break through at the same time. Then, well, you could trade as many pairs as you want, but you could do whatever you like. Just follow the correlation and use risk management to the point. Because remember, if you know September candle should be closing down here, and once September candle closes down here, you know for sure you should be selling October's candle. So you'll be only looking out for sells until October close. If it does reverses back or it break through, this will be setting up basically. This is all next year stuff. We don't have to worry about down here. You don't have to worry about, well, say you don't have to worry about it because the candle could just break right through or it could just reverse right back up. But technically, it shouldn't enter these margins until next year. These two major zones, like over here and down here. So it should just range. If it does come down, it's going to come down a little bit. So now, based off that, that's the monthly, what you want to be thinking about on the monthly. So the into this week, you want to see how the weekly candle close. And let's see. You see how this weekly candle closed now? So now we say we're looking out for sells now based off the correlation and all that other stuff. We're looking out for sells. So we're on this, we're going to be looking for sells. With the pip royalties technique, you know, last week it was buys, so technically we should be buying 50 to, we should be looking for buys technically, but with the correlation and all that extra monthly analysis and all that extra breakdown, we're looking out for sells. So this trend is telling you to buy, which is the weekly and all that stuff, it sells. So that's a bit tricky if you're beginner, right? If you're a beginner. So with the monthly setup, it sells. So to enter this one, you know the buyers would take over roughly around here. So you know the weekly would start buying around here. Hold on. The weekly would start buying around there, right? But I want you guys to look at these resistance. I want you guys to look at this real quick. Remember, the weekly is saying buys, right? Because it closed bulls. But I just showed you a monthly analysis, and you know the correlation with the US dollars recovering. So once the US dollars is, I mean, now it's crashing. Once this is going down, USD is going up, it's crashing. So it was recovering for the past 6 months, and now it's crashing again. So if the US dollar is going to continue to crash, that means this USD JPY is going to go down. That's the overall forecast you should be thinking about. Once the US dollar is crashing, once the US economy is doing bad and all that extra stuff, that means the US dollar is crashing, and USD JPY, USD SHAF, USD CAD, all of those is going to be bullish, right? So let's say the US dollar is going to continue to crash and it's going to go down. The monthly analysis and all that stuff saying it's about to crash and continue going down, right? But your weekly candle is saying it's buys, because you noticed last week how it stopped hunting so low and then it came back up. So it's all saying, but I want you guys to look. You see this zone that I just highlighted? The reason I pay attention to this, you see, like for the past, this is the weekly candle, right? So 2, 4, this is a month right here. For a whole month, it hit this zone, came down and closed. Next month, it went all the way back up, came down and closed. The following month, dropped down, came back up and closed. The other month, dropped down there, came back and closed. This month, went all the way down here, but it came back and closed, right? So you get the idea what I'm trying to say. It keeps coming back to this. These wicks just keep hitting that zone. And pay attention to where it's at right now. It's at that zone where it keep going back to. So that's why I highlighted it, right? And then notice all these wicks right here, same thing over here. Just look at all the damage it did every time you look across the same zone. Another what, 2, 4 months? 4 weeks. That's a month right here. Like it just keep hitting this zone for months and then coming off. All right. So, anyways, so you know how our monthly candle or monthly analysis and all that right around here in that zone, right? This week, I'll be selling it somewhere around here. The min will be around these zones. The max will be roughly, even though the weekly is saying buys, it is going to buy up, but it's going to go up a little bit, but then it's going to reverse back. And then this weekly should completely engulf and be a new bearish trend. You get what I'm trying to say? Who asked the question in USD JPY, I hope you understand what I'm trying to say, when the reason why I'm saying I'm going to sell it in this. And I'm gonna need a max though. I'm gonna have to figure out where I'll put a max somewhere here. I don't want a stop loss above this. I want a stop loss above here, but I need to figure out where I'm gonna put a max. The stop loss, but it's a lot of pips though on the weekly. So the max will be roughly around here, and then the stop loss, right? This would be the entry for, right? So this would be the first entry. But if you want to be extra safe, and if you want to be extra safe when you're entering this trade, you wait for it to come. You're expecting to sell from here, so you could watch it. So you could just watch it, and then once you see the daily candle, because this is what the weekly time frame, but the daily candle will go up here, right? And then daily candle will hit it. So the daily candle will close, but you see the next daily candle, which will be around Tuesday, engulf. So you see once you see Tuesday candle engulf, that's the confirmation that you're looking for, and then we engulf. And then once it engulf around Tuesday, now you say, yep, the engulf. You know what Wednesday should be doing, right? Wednesday will be the continuation. So it's either you're going to be selling it. I would be looking to sell it either up here, or if you want to be extra safe, you wait for the reverse, and then once it engulfs Tuesday, then around Wednesday you could enter with a pip royalties technique. You just enter off this candle, off the sell zone. That extra stuff based off if that would be all off if the USD candle is going to be recovering or is going to continue, and the correlation would be the same over here with euro. Euro would be going up, and then USD JPY and all those guys, they'll be sells. So that's the reason why I'll be looking for the sells in UJ, because if we're going to be buying this, we have to be selling UJ and USD CAD and USD SHAF. Let me see what those look like. You see how the USD SHAF really engulfed back in, because that's the correlation. So yo, you look how crazy, like this is like a super sell. Like this is saying sell. That's what I'm worried about. Like why would they do this at the end of the quarter? Like, so now you see USD JP CAD, all of those would be sells. Look how USD SHAF body is closing, monthly candle is closing. So that means with the pip royalties technique, once this candle closes, you know where to enter with the fibs, you know where to enter from there. And then you know the next candle will be bearish based off the correlation and the history and all this extra stuff that they have going on. But the sales will be the first one will be here, and then around October, November. Because remember, around October, November is going to be the second major time where the trend. If September, like I showed you on the other pairs, this would be September. October, November would be resetting this one right around here. And the reason why I chose these zones, look across the board. Like you see, look, this is what the monthly candle, right? So 2, 4 here. And then over here again, 2, 4, 6 months, it was playing around in this zone. So October, November is going to reset. This will be the major zone for the trend to correct. October, November would be like this. So October, November would have to correct itself with engulfment. Just like how I showed you guys, USD JPY would correct itself. Will correct itself. I need to zoom in. Oh, I deleted it. But around October, November, you know, the trend, it will correct itself around the first here. In correlation, Euro will correct itself around here. October, November, it will correct around here. Into next year margin, GBP, AUD, USD. Same correlation, guys, around October, November. If this breaks, it's going to correct itself up there, right? So now, for this week, we're just going to have to buy and see if this week or around October, November, the sales continue. But based off how these monthly candles closing, and keep in mind, guys, this is all based off this weekly candle closing, above this range. If it closes below and the stop loss is hit, where we're going to buy, if it hits our stop loss, that's where we're going to be buying with half of what we usually trade with. So if it does keep our stop loss, if it does hit our stop loss and close down here, it will be way much easier, and it will just continue down to where we expect the gap. Remember this gap on the USD trend? We expected those gap to be filled down here. But we're going to be buying from around here, and then we're going to see what happened from there. So you guys understand we're buying from and why. Yeah, but based off everything happening now, we're going to have to wait and see if it really closes, or we're going to be buying around here this week. We're going to see if it continues. If it breaks back down here this week and hit the stop loss, then yes, it might be going to the gap. But now, it's a possibility that it will range back up here to around October, November. And then if October, November don't correct back down into next year, it's going to be those buys. This will be 2019. There's going to be buys or sells. Do you guys understand why we're going to be buying this week? We're going to be using half of what we usually buy to see if it does close. If it does take out our stop loss and close down here, then we just continue. Anyone has any questions on what we're doing? Yeah, it completely changed back now, so now we're following a whole different trend. So I'm about to upload this webinar so you guys could watch it over for the reasons why we're going to be buying and selling. But based off this webinar, this is why we're going to be buying to where and where we're going to be looking out. So we're going to be following the signals will be according to this webinar. So anyone has any questions before I close it? Ishaz.
Based on the beginner stuff, monthly would say sells in euro, but because of the way the candle is closing, we would pair the buys. Based on the candle didn't close yet. This candle on the beginner stuff, you'd have to wait for the candle to completely close to see the direction of the monthly, what should be this week. So this monthly candle, it closed right. But I don't. If it's gonna close, if it's gonna go bullish, that's why it's not closed yet. So that's why this week is important, because if this candle is probably gonna be closing bullish around here. It's gonna close all the way up here, like in this little zone, or it might be a little bullish body, but the candle's gonna close here. And based off the beginner stuff, you would know that it's a bullish trend into September. So you would know it's the buys. But if this week it does, that's what I'm trying to tell you, with half of what we usually use. If this week the candle does close, if it does come down and close bearish, and we would be selling it, because if this candle closes down here bearish this week and that stop loss, the signals that I give out, if the stop loss is hit, we're going to be selling it next month. But based off of how everything is looking, it shouldn't be closing. Hit our stop loss this week, it is sells. It's very unfortunate, man, because it's just bullshit, I would call it, because we was selling like we was born, it was last year. This was basically the whole year, right? Last year ended it here. This year it went all the way up. And then it ranged for 4 months, which is October, November, January. This was February, March, April, right? And then we sold it, it dropped down. And then just last week, guys, you guys gotta remember the market was all the way down here this last week. The monthly candle was all the way down here. Why would they come all the way back into this zone? That's why we got caught. This is where we actually like took a loss, because we got confused. Why would it come? Because we was expecting it to close down there. So basically, in advance, that's a warning saying it's gonna go up. Because if we expected it to close down here and it's closing up here, oh, let me show you an example. Let me show you an example of this, right? You see this candle right here? How it's closing? Look at USD CAD. USD CAD did it a couple times. Notice how USD CAD did the same thing and left this huge wick, and then the next month, which will be September, just jumped up. That's the same thing we're looking for. And then you see how USD CAD did it again here, like the monthly candle on Euro. It's all the way, it made this huge body and it came all the way back up. And then the next month, which was September, it just jumped up. Look, that huge candle went all the way down, came up, and now, because I saw this is basically a candlestick pattern where it does that, where it does it on all the time frames basically, and it's doing it on the monthly. So that means the next monthly candle is gonna go that way. Every time it does that wick and close above in that range, show you again on USD CAD. See how it ranged for 4 months, dropped all the way down and came back up, went all the way there, did it again, ranged in USD CAD. They were so mad for months. Like, look at for months. They were going through it for months, and it's like 4 months, and then it dropped, and then 2 months they was happy, like yeah, and then 2 more months it dropped again. Like, damn, bro, they must have been mad every other month they was trading that pair. Like, wow, this is all they want, like a continuous trend, like 2, 4. This is all we need, guys, like 6, 8 months. But they're not doing that no more. Like, why do they look at this bullshit? Like, they had them over here for, this is the monthly time frame. Like, this isn't days, this is months. They had them here for 2 months, and it dropped all the way down and came back. The 4th month went all the way up. Then they range here again. This is evil. Like, look at this. Went all the way in, came back up for a whole month, and just dropped. And they did it again. Notice these candlesticks. That's the same thing Euro is doing over here. Like, that wick is a trap. So now September, So that's why we're looking to buy into it. That's why we're buying. The whole reason why we're buying, because of this damn candlestick. I've noticed it so many times. It's a trap. Yes, this was a great example because this USD CAD, it did it so many times. These people was mad. Like, look all the way down here, then it closed, and then it shot all the way up. Man, that's what I'm saying. Euro's about to do it. So yeah, that's one of the reasons we're buying behind it. But overall knowledge, that's why I showed you guys those two major zones, which is going to be that one or the other one in October, November, where it should recover based off our general knowledge of the USD dollars and the volume, because Britain is going through Brexit. Brexit is about to settle next year, and once that settles, Britain ain't a part of Euro, and Euro, the value, the economy, all of that stuff is going to be different. So I don't think they would have enough volume in the market to overpower the US dollars. And if they do overpower the US dollars, that's when the trend will continue bullish on Euro. It will continue all the way like this into next year. But we know Brexit and all that extra stuff going on, it shouldn't have enough volume, a better economy than the dollars. So that's the reason why we're buying. I mean, that's why the reason why we're expecting those sales, because it shouldn't have a better economy. But if they do have a better economy and the dollars do decide to crash, it's going to go up into next year. But nah, I don't think so. So it should be coming up here, which is around October, November. That's why I keep stretching that other date in which we're going to be looking to see. And it's the same correlation with all of them. USD, JPY, the same way I showed you guys. Once this zone break, October, November is going to test down here. And if October, November holds there, into next year margin, if the dollars is going to continue to crash, it's that way. If the dollar is going to recover with Euro, it will come off here in October, November. And USD shaft, same correlation, all of them. I showed you this zone, USD shaft will be holding, and Euro and so forth. You guys understand why we're going to be buying and why we're going to be selling these pairs? October, November on shaft will continue to recover off here. And if the US dollar has more volume and doing better, then we'll recover into next year. If it is going to continue, we'll take this out and go this way. This is next year's margin. So you guys understand? Any more questions? Why we're going to be buying, where we're going to be selling to, and the reasons why? It's very unfortunate, man, because life could have been so much easier to close it this month. But I'm not in control of the market, and I wish they had closed down here, but this is what it's given. So now they threw us back into the range, and we just have to deal with what's given. Resistance I see is in October, November, where we'll either come back and go into come back into next year. But if it breaks, and the US dollar will continue to crash. But I'm about to upload this video so you guys could go back. But this is the main reason behind the way we're going to be trading this way. This is the new direction because, well, for now it's the new direction anyways. But if this weak candle comes and closes below here, then we're going to for it to go fill the gap. So we already know our original plan, but this is the update. If not, that's what we're going to be doing now. But this is the update. If this weak candle does close below, we're going to be doing this. If this weak candle does take out our stop loss, the reason why we're buying half, we're just going to go the opposite way. I mean, if it does take out our stop loss, we're going to continue with what we originally planned for it to go fill the gap down here. Yeah, but no. If it closes, it's good. Yeah, it is above the 75%, but this 4 months resistance, bro, is so strong. 4 months, 8 months. It's basically 8 months. If it closes below here, it's good confirmation that it's still good. It is closing above the 50, close to the center 5. But even if it closes down here, it's closing closer to 50. So if this week takes out the stop loss, it's closing on the 50. And then I would say still valid because you remember the following, but I would say it was still valid even if it closed below. But nah, this week I think that's why we're gonna be buying it now, because I think this week is gonna close somewhere around here. It's here we had it on the daily, right? It shows it on the daily. On the daily, yep. You see where I had it? That zone I drew. Oh no, that's the daily. Yep, the weekly. So this week, not the daily, we have to see the week. This weekly will be closing. Yeah, this weekly will be closing roughly around here. This weekly candle will be closing around here. So from our, it will be closing around here, and then we'll see from there. We're gonna be buying from around here, take profit around here into this week, and then next week with NFP and all that stuff, we'll see. How does that look on the monthly? It'll be closing around here on the monthly in that zone. But when I give the signal, if it takes out our stop loss, the signal is gonna be here, right? The buy zone is here in the signal. The buy zone is gonna be here. The signal is gonna say to buy here, buy here, buy here, and then the stop loss here, right? So if it takes out the signal and hit our stop loss, then I'm saying next month might continue with what we originally planned for it to fill that gap. But since we're gonna be buying, we don't expect it to take out a stop loss. We expect it to close up here. So from our buy zone, it should be closing somewhere up here. So we're going to go down, hit our buy zone, and then continue up and close up here. But even though I don't want us to lose, I hope it takes out the stop loss, bro, because if until October, November, that's going to be a headache. I don't want to go through that headache. It should have just, because our plan here. So hopefully it just closes. And I think some of the guys still have trades in from last week. I'm going to have to tell them that they're going to have to exit. If you still have trades in from last week, you're going to have to wait. Keep the same stop loss because you don't want to just break right through. But it should just hit here or something and then come back down to the weekly low. So when it comes down here to the weekly low, you have to exit those sells, and the buys is going to come in. The buy limit and the buy max will be activated, and then you want to buy. But you would be so upset but it is where it's indicating bulls, so we're gonna have to buy. So the buy zone is gonna be around here, and I'm gonna put in some other pairs in correlation, and the reason why we're doing it, you guys already know. So when it comes back down, exit the sells around this zone where the buy signals are. So those buys are gonna activate. You exit the sells, and then it should continue up here. And we're gonna see if it breaks through here into October, November. We're gonna see if we're gonna sell it from here again. But I just hope, even though I don't want us to lose, I just hope it just break through and then it just do what we originally had planned for it to just go fill that gap. Like, we had the next 3 months would have been so much easier if this monthly candle closed down here, because for the next 3 months we would have been expecting it to go fill that. But looks like that's not going to happen. So let's see what happened from those buys. If it takes out our stop loss, we're heading back to the gap. We're going to be doing what we originally planned. But since this is happening, this is just the update that we're going to be going up here October, November. But if not, let's see though, guys. Let's see if the stop loss get hits. And then October, November, December to finish the year. Gap. Alright? So I'm about to upload this video now, guys. So you guys could watch it. And if you have any questions, just ask me in the group chat. And I'll try to update you guys. Alright? Alright, see you.